Hello everyone, I'm here today to talk to you about the great William Shakespeare's beautiful yet gothic play, Macbeth. Let's begin with the brief summary of the play. The play begins with three haggard old women, the witches, appear of the storm. Chanting tones, they encounter two Scottish generals, and the witches made a prediction about the future of the two. At first the two had not believed the witches, but the predictions began to come true, and they started to believe. One of the predictions was, Macbeth will be king. Macbeth was one of the Scottish generals. Macbeth and Banquo arrive at the king's, and Macbeth is granted the title of Thane of Corridor. The king will stay at Macbeth's for a night at Macbeth's and his wife to host a celebration. Macbeth confesses to have dark desires. He is now ambitious to be king, which means the king and his son must die for that to happen. Macbeth sent Lady Macbeth a letter explaining all that has happened, and she is reading it. She believes in the prophecy, and she convinces him to kill Duncan the king. Here they go. The king is now dead. Hearing the news, Malcolm and Donald Bain plan to flee for their lives. Malcolm and Donald Bain are now accused of having bribed the servants who supposedly killed Duncan, their father. Macduff also announces that Macbeth has been chosen to be king. Both Lady Macbeth and Macbeth express their unhappiness. Macbeth speaks of his fear of Banquo. Thus they kill Banquo. Macduff flees to England to seek help in overthrowing Macbeth. Macduff joins Malcolm to overthrow Macbeth. While Macduff was out, Macbeth kills Macduff's entire household. A Scottish force in rebellion against Macbeth marches towards Burnham Wood to join Malcolm and his English army. The rebel Scottish forces have joined Malcolm's army at Burnham Woods. Malcolm orders each soldier to cut down and carry a large piece of wood to conceal their numbers from Macbeth. Macduff arrives in search of Macbeth. Macbeth was told by the witches that no man born from a woman will be able to kill him. But Macduff was cut out of his mother, and thus able to kill and behead Macbeth. The castle has already been surrendered to Malcolm, whose forces were strengthened by deserters from Macbeth's army. So there it is, a short summary of the story. The play Macbeth is an example of great literature. There are many reasons for this, but for the time being, let's just stick to three. The critical commentary, second is the theme statement, and lastly we have the way the characters are portrayed. The first reason why the novel is an excellent example of great literature is because of the critical commentary that exists in the play. For example, Lady Macbeth in Macbeth represents the extreme one form of temptation that may beset a woman, ambition. Cleopatra, example of another, passion. In the play, Lady Macbeth was an ambitious woman who set the standard for her husband. She told her husband what to do, and she got her husband up there. Some would say she set the standard for women. The theme statement conveyed is, guilt will always kills you in the end. William Shakespeare. The theme was portrayed throughout the story. For example, when Macbeth had just received word that Banquo is now dead. He saw Banquo's ghost sitting in a seat at the table. Macbeth was the only one able to see the ghost, making everyone wonder why he was acting this way, as the guilt was eating at him. From the time when Macbeth did not want to kill Duncan, he saw a floating dagger above the body. The guilt. Finally, the third reason. Macbeth is a great example of great literature is how well the characters are portrayed. The characters in the story are very dynamic, and you can never tell what the characters are going to do next. This helped the overall play as it kept the audience intrigued. For example, Macbeth began as the loyal noble of the king and then betrayed the king and killed him. Macbeth became more and more greedy for power. Macbeth is a great play, furthermore, a great piece of literature, for several reasons. First, a critical commentary. Second is the theme statement. And lastly, we have the way the characters are portrayed. Before we end off, let me leave you with a question. What would have happened if Macbeth did not send Lady Macbeth a letter, and did not tell her anything about the prophecy? The end. Thank you for listening, guys.